Hey everybody, welcome back. It's business, and it's time for the Napoli review. So, oh boy, looking at the meritorious service camo here, looks great on Italian ships, and basically every ship, but especially with the stripes along the front bow there. I think it looks nice, and this is a ship that if you've seen me stream at all since this has been released, then you've seen me play this at least a half dozen times in a row. I've got over 100 battles on the ship already, and I've got a lot of opinions on it. Um, some of it good and a lot of it bad, but I can explain a lot of this as we go on, of course. So, armor scheme is actually super shitty in the rear. That's probably the weakest part of the ship in terms of the armor, because otherwise it's a really resilient ship. It has a well protected citadel, as I'll show you here, or at least as well as you could hope for a cruiser at this, well, at any tier. But I mean, at tier 10, this is pretty solid. It's certainly better than something like obviously Minotaur, Stalingrad, or like Des Moines, Goliath, etc., etc. This is a ship that definitely has its turrets knocked out very, very frequently. So you have to be careful against other cruisers, or like if you're facing off against a Napoli. I mean, honestly, I would doubt that the guns are really your biggest concern when going up against a Napoli, especially up close. But the overall package is the bigger problem than just one single thing on its own. These guns are pretty interesting, as in, they have, actually, it's going to take a lot more time than I have for the port overview here to go over the guns. It's going to take a solid like 5-10 minutes, so I'm going to come back to that later. But the combination here with the secondaries, which have an inherent accuracy bonus like the Massachusetts does, and then having the torpedoes with good arcs, and they're further on the back end here, which is a bit tough in close quarters situations, because you would be surprised at how much of a difference having a midships mounted torp launchers versus rear mounted, like stern mounted torp launchers. It makes a very significant difference when you're up close against somebody. But the upgrades on this ship, actually, for what this ship has in terms of the attributes, you actually have a lot of flexibility here with running things in slot 3 here. You could run literally any of this, and it makes sense. Like, I wouldn't fault you for running an AA build on this, because holy shit, the AA is actually really good. Unfortunately, it's extremely short ranged, as is the quote unquote national flavor for the Italians at 4.6, which is just, fuck, that sucks, man. And especially with the prevalence now of skip bombers, and just the faster drops from those, it means you have less time to be able to potentially shoot things down. And not only that, but they can drop them from outside of your AA range. I do run the dispersion module for the secondaries, and a little bit of the range boost there in slot 3 right now. I ran for about 80 games the dispersion module for the main battery. That I swapped out because there is just no discernible positive impact for that. So 9.2 kilometer range on the secondaries with the secondary flag as well. So you really do have a lot of options, again, when it comes to the captain skills, because you can run this or that. Like, I really, really should have tested out outnumbered, because I really wanted to see that. I find myself in the situations, of course, where I'm outnumbered like on the flank, or I'm just completely alone, because the idiots that play this game start on the left side, but they want to go all the way over to the right side of the map and do even less than they otherwise would do. But like outnumbered would actually be interesting, just to see like the effect on dispersion, because I saw no discernible difference with the dispersion module, certainly not a positive one. And if I was running the range module and the dispersion module, maybe those together would work in concert to improve the dispersion, make the main guns more reliable. But then you throw outnumbered onto it, and maybe this would actually represent a ship that you know, had guns that you could have some level of confidence in. But you know, Sansonetti's a great addition to this ship. I very, very strongly recommend him because concealed reserves boost you up 10% on the duration of any of your consumables, so your heal, your fuel smoke, obviously, and your fuel smoke. If you're running the absolute maximum on that, like with the flags, the upgrades here, and you know the various slots, and then the captain skills too, and you get concealed reserves, you're looking over a minute on the fuel smoke, which is crazy as shit. Because man, that affords you some ability to either get in there or get away. But you know, you can run the 2-point skill for basically getting the 10% additional duration of the consumables. Not all of them, which is kind of shitty, but it is only a 2-point skill. And I run the torpedo reload buff because I at least have the capability of getting the concealed reserves captain bonus if I get 100 main battery hits, and unfortunately that's unlikely, but I still choose to run the torpedo stuff because I find that I need that goddamn reload faster and faster and faster because I get myself in these stupid situations like this. But this is actually kind of watching this again, a really good example of the various shortcomings and strengths of the ship. So clearly we did some damage against the Petro initially, and we had some good dispersion, but now we can't seem to get shit against I think it's a Baltimore. And you know, we're going in up against the FDG. We got the Petro over there who's obviously trying to swing his turrets around as fast as possible. I'm doing a shit job of getting my turrets around, which I'm not happy about how I managed this engagement, but the fact that I went in there at all was actually a really big deal. Like we definitely needed something like this to happen in this match. And you know, the Napoli was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. So it did it. But we managed to get another Citadel against the Petro, and we survived our encounter there. But you can certainly see the strengths of the mobility and the armor of the ship, but you also see the glaring shortcomings when it comes to the main battery with just not being able to knock shit out. Like, flat broadside just can't bring it home. And I don't know what the hell this guy was thinking, but cool. Alright, I'm down for that. As we move into the middle here, trying to pursue, oh, there he is. Actually, I think this is a Yagumo, but it's, or maybe it's not. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So the problem that I have with this ship is that the main battery honestly is almost simple decoration when it comes to like engaging targets at range. And there's going to be an engagement in the next match, like against a Petropavlovsk, and it's a huge bitch to engage a Petro in any ship, but Jesus Christ, it is a struggle in this. So trying to aim towards the rear half, because at that point of me playing the ship, I hadn't really encountered too many other Napolis, and I was just more or less testing out where I could aim to try to get some more actual pen damage and or hopefully a Citadel. Unfortunately, against this Colombo, I popped the fighter too soon, so I didn't really get much out of that, unfortunately. This is actually one of my earlier games with this ship. I think this was within the first 10 games. It might have been even less than that. Might have been within the first 5 or 6 games that I had this match. And I've been really struggling with trying to figure out how to play this the way that I feel like it would maximize the damage up close, because it's either like the turrets are just slightly behind, or like, you know, the situation means that I can't, you know, open up and dump my, you know, one side of torps and then try to swing back to the other side real fast. yeah, I just haven't really found myself terribly comfortable in drive-bys with the ship. Um, we did 100 to 0 the Colombo though, so that was very valuable for me in terms of just getting raw damage. But then we're going up against this Conqueror here, and again, this was an early situation for me in terms of my experience with this ship, and that right there surprised the shit out of me. Uh, I I am shocked that he didn't do a lot more damage to me, but here we are. So, thankfully, a ship that actually has a citadel that I can hit. But you know, the armor is fucking good, man. It is really solid. You're definitely gonna take a shitload of damage from enemy sap. Oh my god. I've engaged other Columbos where, I'm angled and I still take 19,000 damage anyways. The Venezia is a huge bitch to engage with this ship because you can't outtrade it. It's just impossible. You have HE, yay, cool. And the HE is actually not bad at all. Like, you'll see it, especially in this and a couple other matches. I do a lot of damage with the HE. But against cruisers and stuff, nah, not so much. You just don't pen enough to be able to really do any significant damage there. And speaking of not being able to do significant damage, it just cannot get rid of this fucking Petro. The Thunderer on my team eventually ends up killing him for me, but the duration of that engagement and how much it favored the enemy Petro in comparison to me is just absurd, and it just, man, that fucking sucked. Really wish that this had some tighter dispersion, just like the ellipse itself, or whatever the hell's going on with the dispersion. It just made a little bit more sense. But anyhow, I say that, and then you'll see me get these 7, 8,000, 9,000 damage salvos against destroyers. It just, I don't get it. I don't get why there's such a discrepancy against such small targets where I get so many shell hits on them, but against the larger targets I can't seem to fucking hit them at all. So, and granted, a Petro is more like a tier 1 in terms of its profile, compared to a high tier destroyer. I mean, Jesus Christ, the ship is just absurdly low in the water and hard to hit. So, this is not a good situation. We're going to lose pretty shitty all around. Enemy Wister, there's a Vermont over here on the right. I have no idea where the DDs are, but we'll find them here in a second. So say, fuck it, just launch those torps over towards the Vermont. We got our secondaries reporting there, and here's a Howland, and it's my homeboy Wraith. We also had JC in this match too, but he had died before this point. So take one torp, and you'll see why that's a problem. Amongst a few other things going on with this match. So managed to get a secondary kill on the Wister and the Howland there, so I was pretty happy about that. My friendly Napoli goes down with that shot. Marceau shows up, and this is where one of the areas where you just kind of wonder what the fuck you're thinking when you're playing, because watching this, I'm just like, oh, okay. Oh, wait, this is where I lose a lot of health. So, in my greed to get yet another close quarters expert, and also because I wanted to make sure that I had my guns ready for the Vermont here, I let the Marceau live a little longer than he should have. He sets 2 fires, and instead of having 27,000, which I already had a fire anyways, I go down to, 21,000 or whatever. So I get yet another fire set on me by the Shimakaze, because destroyers have the highest fire chance in the game, apparently. And we burned down the Vermont, so that's cool, great. We know the Shimakaze is over here. That's 2 of 3 torp racks that have been launched towards us, and there it is. There's... God, this pisses me off. I should have and could have avoided that. But you can see where having killed that Marceau a little bit earlier might have been beneficial. Because I've got maximum AR here, and I get high caliber too, but Jesus Christ, dude. Like, the smallest little mistakes on my end there really didn't help me, but also having ships like our team's Moskva refuse to move out from behind an island until it's already too late, and then he just gets killed anyways. And other factors, of course, it just really sucks. So here is my actually, this is my highest base XP match, and certainly one of the more interesting ones that I've played with this ship. So letting my secondaries do the work, take a shot at an enemy DD here, and look at this range, and look at that hit. 7 shell pens at that range against a destroyer. It just does not happen that way against cruisers or battleships or anything else. And unfortunately, my A turret got taken out by the island there. The shells hit the island, and I wasn't able to follow up that kill with a dev strike against the Brindisi or whatever it was. Damn shame. I'm super disappointed in that. And I also have no idea how I missed that shot against the destroyer here, but we got a Schlieffen in testing that's charging in against us, which I haven't seen a single one of these ships do well. I'm not sure what everybody else's experience is, but I think the tier 9 and 10 actually have double torp launchers. I know the tier 10 has a 4x4 setup like the Hindenburg. It's fucking crazy. But I was really worried that we were going to have another set of torps coming in and have our match end early. So the carrier, right after the Schlieffen died, began to focus me intensely. And started racking up a bunch of plane kills, and there we go. We get a defense expert, which is, I think, the 3rd time I've been able to get it in this ship. Been actually getting a pretty decent amount of plane kills with this, despite the incredibly short AA range. But so we've obviously got this whole clusterfuck going on. Very, very, very worried about the Kremlin there, and also a few other things like the Shimikaze. You know, that we just saw some torps come in from that gap there, and I did not put 2 and 2 together. I did not see that those were deep water torps. I had no idea up until watching this replay and like putting the video together that he was actually to the north. So, and then everybody's biggest fear and whatnot is a Shimikaze point blank, but we know we've got at least 2 torp racks that are on reload. I'm going in right after him because I have no hydro. I have no way of doing anything here other than going right in against him. So managed to get Kraken. I didn't even realize it was a Kraken at this point, and so that was awesome. The Georgia and the Kremlin actually ended up ramming each other or something like, or no, actually the Georgia managed to get a few big hits on the Kremlin at point blank range, and the Kremlin ended up dying. So that was a huge deal for us in this match, because there's just no way that I was going to be able to get in there and go after a Kremlin and do enough damage to kill him while still dealing with everybody else. So we get Confederate here. We launched our port side torps early, 13.5 kilometer range, just get them in the water. And that's just, this is a poor way to play a Petro, but oh well. Everybody likes seeing one blow up. And that sure as hell includes me, because man, what a bitch to play against. So anyways, so as we finish up this match, I mean, this is clearly in the bag with the Georgia behind me, the Immelman also supporting me against the Georgia here, and I've got everything going for me. I'm not the slightest bit concerned about the Georgia, nor the Yu Yang that is clearly capping at A. So yeah, this is all pretty much in the bag, but you get to see some of the mobility there with how close I was to this island, and yet still able to turn and maneuver and get out of the way. For a ship this size, this thing handles beautifully, and I am very fond of ships that are around this size, like the Dutch cruisers are a great example. The tier 8, 9, 10, and this ship, they all fall within a very specific bracket of turning radius and the overall speed, rudder shift, and I just cannot express how important that shit is to me because I love close quarters engagements. And even though the ship does better in the just outside of super close range, like the Alaska's a better ship, the fucking Minotaur is a better ship, like point blank range than this could ever be. It's wonderful to move around with this ship, and the same can be said for the Dutch cruisers. But look at this base XP for under 160,000 damage. Holy shit. But that's why 21.4k to the Shim, 17.1 to the Fletcher, another 15.5 to the Yu Yang, and then the Oland as well. That's how you get massive base XP right there. And that was the high water mark for the damage, actually. So 236,000, which is pretty much the same as my Alaska high water mark. But, you know, there's a lot of things to like with the ship. There's a lot to dislike. And, I mean, if you can get within the 4 to 10 kilometer range and let the, you know, the armor, the durability of the ship, the secondaries, the main battery, and everything else work together in concert, then that's awesome. And it's actually huge. It's a really big deal that this only burns for the regular cruiser duration, because if this was super cruiser, like 60-second fires, there's no way in hell I could play the ship. There really isn't. It's just not. Like, it would need faster cooldown or on the repair party or DCP one way or another. It would need some additional help on survivability because it wouldn't be strong enough to deal with that. So I think this is actually a really good blend of things. You just don't want to get too close, because too close means your main battery becomes that much more important, and the main battery is the weakest point of the ship. And then the longer range engagements, pretty much the same thing, but for different reasons. The main battery just, it's not good enough to reliably do damage at long range. So with that said, I do think this is an awesome ship, and I highly recommend checking it out. If you've got the coal, by all means pick it up and fuck around with it. I'm having so much fun with it. But thank you for watching today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you back here next time. Take care, everybody.